Now, Tomo, I won't trade Zion. I think that's a bad idea. All right. I mean, obviously, I know he's hurt, all that stuff, but we saw him when he played. Like when he played, they were the number one seed in the West. Oh, we're gonna disagree. They were the number one seed in the West, and then I saw the growth between Zion then and Zion now. Zion is getting better. Like
Mhm.
Zion before was out of shape and everything. This Zion was very muscular, in shape. You didn't see a lot of body fat on him. I mean, the guy was ready for this year, and then he just had an injury, unfortunate injury, right? So I wouldn't trade him. I would still keep him, I mean, he's still young. He's a young guy. They got a young team. They got talent. They got a young coach. I mean, why trade him? And then, I mean, you trade him, you know where to send him, right? Hold on. Who you got? Oh, there we go. You know where to send him. Hey, look. By the way, fun fact: Zion Williamson. They asked him, "Who is the guy that you love playing against?" I think he said, "Love playing against or love watching playing." You know what he said?
Sabonis.
De'Aaron Fox.
I knew it. I just had to say the
He
Sabonis.
said De'Aaron Fox. And I made it. I tweeted like 2 years ago, and I put, "Mark my words, Zion's getting traded to the Kings in the future." So if they trade him, hey, send him to Sacramento. But I don't think they should trade him. I don't think it'll be smart.
Okay, so this is why we're gonna disagree.
Okay.
Sometimes people need a new environment to be in, and that sometimes changes the way their trajectory of them being healthy. I
Okay.
mean, you could some. I mean, it's very rare that you have a Joel Embiid situation where a player is known for getting hurt his first few years of the season, then he just turns it around. Matter of
Facts.
fact, I'm gonna add Bradley Beal to that too, because Bradley Beal was injury prone right up until he got his money, and then he started playing more games.
Still
He
injury prone kind of, but go
he
ahead.
still it's not as bad as it used to be though. When he was just a shooter, if Bradley Beal hit the ground, he used to be the iPhone. If he hit the ground, you start picking it up like, is my screen cracked? Whew, thank you.
My
All
man
right,
just shut it down last year.
I'm just saying. So it's very rare that can happen. Like you said, we did see the growth and maturity of Zion since he has been in the league. Because coming into the league, it was him and Ja. And
Mm-hmm.
he was coming out of Duke with like all the media hype. Remember, he blew up the shoe. Once he blew up the shoe, they was like, "Oh, he's destined to be great in the NBA." But then some people was like, "But he's a little overweight, and he's going to New Orleans." It was like, "You ever been to New Orleans? Like, that's where the
Mm-hmm.
food at?" So they was like, "We don't know." And then that first season turned out the way it did, but he got back in the gym, like you said, he bulked up a little bit. You know, I'm tired of seeing him dunk in the off season though. Like, no more of them videos. You don't gotta keep sending us those. We know you can dunk, and his game got better. And as his game got better, the team got better. Brandon Ingram got better. Then they went and got CJ McCollum. And they found a diamond in the rough in Jose, what's his name? Jose Alderon?
Alderaan.
Yeah, I gotta make sure I get that right because you know he be acting like the TSA agents on the court, shaking people down, man. But I would trade him because of that factor right there. You have a solid core, you have a young coach, and you have actual vision in where your franchise can go. So you could trade Zion and you could bring in more pieces for that one player. I wouldn't trade him to the Kings because of the overhaul. The overhaul they may request back because you all are actually like a threat in the West. So they may want
Mm-hmm.
more
I want to do that.
because they want to become the threat. Now you have teams like I don't want to say it because they gonna think I'm being a fan. You got teams like the Wizards,
Okay.
Brooklyn,
What's would be a good fit? Him and Porzingis?
them sign and trade with Kuzma, but then you got the Nets. You could probably do a Maverick situation. Just
No,
maybe
they're going to turn him to the East, most likely.
if they smart, they will. But I'm just throwing out teams he could possibly do the deal with who already has like they're already quote unquote franchise player, and they just need someone to come in and plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a potential third. So, which I can see it, but I think because you're in the West, it's gonna be tough. Zion ain't played since like the beginning of the new year. And even then he was averaging 26, 61 from the field. So you're getting a solid player back. So you can kind of like make something happen. That's the only reason I say you should trade for him. But if I'm the GM, I agree with you. I would keep him one more year, see if he can actually play it out. But if we don't make the playoffs next year, you got to think about it. Like You got to get something back because CJ's getting older. Brandon Ingram's getting better. Jose is there, but you want to strike while the iron's hot. You don't want to do what most teams do and keep a player around too long, and then the value was gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely think about it. It's something to think about. Hey, Perk, I'm glad you're at the doghouse because you got the hot takes rolling.
Now for Zion, it'd be good to trade him. Like you said, a new environment sometimes could change the whole situation. But for the Pelicans, I don't think it's smart. Like you said, Joel Embiid, I know it's rare, but it happened. And Anthony Davis never had major injuries, but he always had injuries, knick-knack injuries throughout his whole career. Anthony Davis. So Zion is a once-in-a-lifetime talent, man. And, I mean, if you trade him, you're not going to win the trade unless you trade with a bottom feeder this year and get that number one pick this year, right? But other than that, they're not going to win the trade because Brandon Ingram is not good enough to lead them to the finals. All right, no diss to Brandon Ingram. CJ McCollum. But when Zion is there, if Zion came back for the playoffs, they have a shot to get to the finals this year. So I would keep him. Like J-Mo put in the chat, this is his first year being healthy, and he still got hurt. That's true. He basically played 3 months and was out for 3 months, basically. So, but you know how today's NBA is, Tomo? They are so like safety cautious and making sure they don't want to ruin your future. So Zion probably could have been back, but knowing this NBA today, they just being cautious with that dude, So I mean, like for example, AD didn't even play back to his back-to-backs when they played Houston. He didn't even play the back-to-back game, and he said he felt no soreness or nothing. But they told him it's best for he don't play back-to-backs.
And the players was mad about that too. It's like, man, we ain't got no time to be like resting. We need to make the playoffs. So that
exactly. Every game right now is a playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm like. So I wouldn't trade him. I would like now if we go into next year, and he's out for the rest of it, like for the whole season next year, then it's like, all right, Zion, like what's up? Like then maybe you might have to trade him.
I mean, you can't trade him now, but going into the offseason, you gotta, as a GM, you gotta go into the offseason thinking about it. Like I know what J-Mo said, he's a young player and you can't give up on him, but it's not giving up on him. Sometimes the best thing for a person is the breakup. Like what y'all got going on together. I don't want to make it seem like it's a personal thing, but sometimes in a breakup, you just got to be like, look, man, it's not you, it's me.
It's me.
Yeah, and for me, and for you to be the best person that you can be, I got to let you go, even though it's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you.
Man, ain't no NBA team thinking like that.
They not, but I mean, I'm just saying we got to act like we the GMs in this situation. Yeah. And for me, I would be looking at the roster I have now, and I'm looking at Zion, and I'm like, well, Zion adds another 30 points to what we have already. So it's going to be beautiful. But someone will come in and be like, but when are you going to see it for a full season? If you can get back a solid 2 to 3 players for Zion and a draft pick, you got to kind of look at that phone. Because the teams are proving it. Like the Nuggets are proving it. Orlando, when they get their coaching situation together, they're proving it. Like you can build around a player and have just pieces, and it'll work out. So
that's true. I wouldn't trade him, man. He's too young, man. Like he's too young. Anthony Davis, that dude, he basically about to be 30. So somebody like that is like keep getting injured, then I would consider it. But even Anthony Davis, I'm like hesitant. Like, should I trade Anthony Davis? So Zion, too young for me. Too young. And like I said, the Pelicans could win the championship next year if he's healthy. That's how good that team could actually be. Pelicans had a nice roster, but they had no shot with that. Yup, solid players getting back. Now getting hell with that.
We sound like a front office right now. We going back and forth. So if we was in the front office and we had to make it, I was like, all right, look. So since you say he's too young, I'm giving you up until January of next season. If Zion misses more than 20 games before January, he got to go, bro. You're done.
20 games?
If he missed 20 games, you're done, son. I don't want to hear about him being in his best shape. Like I said, the dunking videos, all that. I don't want to see no promo during the all season. You better come ready to ball. Because in my mind, I'm pushing the button.
Hey, Zion, you heard that? He's going to put you in the Get Done Son segment. Pay attention. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.